Last time we are discussing about the generation of the electromagnetic wave. So we reached this formula, that is the generation of the electromagnetic field is due to the field lines, that is the perpendicular component of the field lines, that is E perpendicular, and we get the formula for E perpendicular equals to minus A perpendicular at the time t prime, q by 4 pi epsilon naught r into c square, where t prime is the retarded time, that is t minus r by c. And I told you that the generation of the EM wave can be understood that due to the acceleration, due to the component of the perpendicular component of the acceleration, that is a perpendicular term, there is a kink in the electric field lines, that is there is a curve of the electric field lines which will manifest itself as the propagation of the electromagnetic wave with a velocity c in free space. Okay, now in traveling wave, electric field lines falling over 1 by r. Look here, this electric field lines is proportional to 1 by r, but traditionally for the electrostatic case, if from Coulomb's law we get electric field E is proportional to 1 over r square. So this is the difference, that the traveling wave, the electric field line is falling over 1 by r, not 1 by r square, and this is consistent with the energy conservation because the electric field lines also falling over 1 by r, magnetic field lines also falling over 1 by r. So the Poynting vector, that is S, which is the energy flow per unit time per unit area, will be S equals to, we can write S equals to E cross B over mu naught. So EB sin theta over mu naught, that is the Poynting vector will be proportional to 1 by r square. So this is fully consistent with the conservation of energy. Now suppose you have to write the electromagnetic waves, the B, for the expression for B and E, where you have given that velocity in y direction and B along x direction. So how can you write it? Velocity along y direction. So k dot r equals to kx into x plus ky into y plus kz into z. But k dot r will be k y into y, because otherwise the dot product k dot x, k into kxx, ky y kzz, so kxx kzz will be 0. That component with the k dot r will be ky, because the electric field, magnetic field along y direction, the velocity of the electromagnetic wave along y direction, and that is the electromagnetic wave is propagating along the y direction. So k dot r, here the propagation is along y direction, so you will get ky into y, and the magnetic field, suppose the magnetic field along x direction, so B equals to B naught cos omega t minus ky y into x dot, and propagation along y direction. So you have to find the electric field. The direction of the electric field will be along z, because E cross B, you will get the Poynting vector S, that is the energy flow direction, that is z cross x will be y. So electric field along z cap, and since this is a plane wave, so the phase is constant, that is omega t minus kyy and omega t minus kyy both are same for E and B field because they are in phase. So properties of the electromagnetic wave, if we just as a summarize, that electric field is perpendicular to k vector, magnetic field is perpendicular to k vector, electric field is perpendicular to B vector, is perpendicular to k vector, both are mutually perpendicular, E and B are in phase, and E naught equals to B naught by C. So all the things that you have to keep in mind whenever you are writing the electromagnetic wave. Now let us back to this solution, that whenever we find out the potentials for A and phi, we get retarded divided potentials, and we take its solution as psi of r comma t equals to, we take function of r comma t divided by r, where this will be a solution of the wave function, wave equation with a source term. Now what does it represent? I am telling you that electromagnetic wave is plane wave. Are this really a plane wave? In case of source, when the r is very less, the distance r is very less, then there is a source term, and the source is propagating electromagnetic waves. What is the shape of this? How will be the form of the electromagnetic waves? It will be spherical waves. Spherical wave means the field lines are diverging outside if there is a point charge plus q. So the function, that is f of r comma t divided by r, represents a spherical wave propagating through space. Okay, that is diverging out through space if there is a charge q, and the opposite sign of those field lines if charge q is minus q. And now if r is very large, means you have a source here and you are far distance apart and you are measuring the electric wave, what will be the form of the waves? Then we can assume the spherical waves as a planar waves. Throughout the phase are constant. So if you are going close to the charges, it will be the source of spherical waves. Whenever you are going far apart, the spherical waves, you will experiencing it as a plane wave. That's why we write the solution of the electromagnetic wave as a plane wave solution. Okay, so going back to our pavilion, that is, from this we get electric field is perpendicular to r, that is fully consistent with the Maxwell equation, where r is the direction of propagation of the wave. Electric field is proportional to the perpendicular component of the acceleration, that is the variation of electric field is proportional to the a sin theta, that is sinusoidal variation. Electric field is proportional for the travelling wave, electric field is proportional to 1 by r, and the Poynting vector is proportional to 1 by r square. Now if we want to find out the power, what will be the power? Power is the integration of Poynting vector over the area dA. So we get the famous Larmor result. If we calculate electric from electric field, we can get magnetic field. From magnetic field, we find out Poynting vector, putting this in this equation, E cross B by mu naught, and then we integrate it with the area. So this is the power formula for the electromagnetic wave. That is the Larmor, famous Larmor result, which is q square a square by 6 pi epsilon naught into c cube. Here you see power is proportional to q square, power is proportional to a square. That is, acceleration term is present here. Now you have a basic question, that how do we accelerate the charge? Okay, you are telling me that accelerated charges are generating electromagnetic waves, but how do you accelerate charges? I will answer you that we can accelerate charges by the application of the electromagnetic field. Although it is funny, but it is quite physical. Suppose you have a bound atom or molecule, okay, and somehow some incoming EM radiation is incident on this bound atom or molecules. So the electrons, which are bound electrons inside the molecule or inside the atom, it will get accelerated due to the oscillating fields of this electromagnetic wave that is incident on it. So it is it will be acting as a oscillating dipole, and for this it will have some forced oscillatory motion, because the incident electric field will give it some force, that is q into E, where E is the E naught cos omega t, that is the incident electromagnetic radiation, electric field of the electric field. And now due to it is bound to the atom or molecule, so it will have some Coulomb force which will try to get it back to its position. That is a restoring force. Restoring force means it has some natural frequency which will try to get it back to its position. So one force, that is the electromagnetic force, that is making it to going away, and another force, that is Coulomb force, that is making it to give it close, get it closer. So there will be oscillatory vibration motion, and the force vibration equation will be x double dot plus omega naught square x equals to q e naught by cos omega by m into cos omega t. Where I put this m term here, I just divide it by m, so I get here m. Okay. Now the solution of this forced equation is x equals to a cos omega t, where the amplitude is the q e naught by m into m omega naught square minus omega square. If you just solve it, you will get the two results, and this is very common result whenever in case of force vibration motion. Okay, so when you find out the displacement x, so you put second derivative, that is x double dot, which will give you the acceleration term, that is minus omega square into x. So here I put my x equals to a cos omega t and x double dot equals to minus omega square by omega square into x. So put this x as x equals to a cos omega t, where value of a is also this. So the total thing will be minus due to this minus sign, and a is q e naught by m into omega naught square minus omega square into omega square into cos omega t. That is the acceleration of the charged particle, that is electron, which is oscillating due to this incident electromagnetic field. So the motion will be like this. The electric field is falling off 1 by r. Okay. So from Larmor formula we get that power is proportional to acceleration square. So if we take the acceleration square, we get that power is, in this case, the dipoles, oscillatory dipoles, the power is proportional to omega to the power 4 divided by omega naught square minus omega square whole square. For omega is very less than omega naught. When the omega is the frequency of the incident electromagnetic field, the electric field. So the omega, frequency of the incident electromagnetic field frequency, is much lower than the natural frequency of the electron. Then power is proportional to omega to the power 4, and this is the Rayleigh scattering. So what does it mean? That you have some incoming radiation, it will excite and bound electron, and the bound electron, due to its oscillating motion, it is behaving as an electric dipole. So the dipole, oscillatory dipole, will re-radiate. The term that is important term here, that is re-radiation. Why this is re-radiation? Because omega frequency is incident and omega frequency is radiated. So it is re-radiated the incident light. It is re-radiated the same omega that was incident. That's why it is called Rayleigh scattering. And we all know that the blue light has much more probability than the red light, because for omega blue by omega red, if we see that the omega blue is, the probability of scattering is 5 times greater than the probability of the scattering for the red light. That's why sky looks blue. So this is the basic physics of scattering, that whenever there is an electromagnetic wave, the electrons are oscillating, oscillatory dipole moments, they are radiating, means they are re-radiating the incident, they are re-radiating the field, which is producing exactly the same frequency with that incident one. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.